Minnesota Mandy, she's named after a state. She likes to eat candy on top of her steak. She's an archaeologist that just can't quit looking at old things. She's Minnesota Mandy. This is her YouTube page. Minnesota Mandy here. Good day, adventurers. Man, this adventure has been a blast. I don't know about you, but it has been one of the funnest adventures I've ever been on. I mean, first we learned about God's treasure. Do you remember what God's treasure was? If you remember what God's treasure was, can you point to it? If you're pointing to your neighbor or yourself, you're right. God's treasure is people. Once we discovered that God's treasure was people, then we learned why. The reason God's treasure is people is because He loves us so much. He wants to be our friends. He wants to have a relationship with us. He wants us to trust Him. He wants us to have faith in Him. So you may be wondering what I'm doing out here today. Well, sometimes when I need to clear my mind to think, I go on a nature walk. So I decided in order for us to figure out what the next clue was, I needed to really go into nature. I love God's creation so much, I just love to hug trees. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Right, guys, my mind is clear. I hugged some trees. I kissed some rocks. I think I still have a little dirt in my mouth. Anyways, now it's time to focus on the clue at hand. But I'm not really coming up with anything. Hey, when you guys see something, will you let me know by giving me a big thumbs up? Awesome. What is that? You guys see something? What is it that you see? It's behind me? Oh my, it was there the whole time? How embarrassing. Ugh. Anyways, let's go check it out. I'm gonna set it up here so you guys can watch. Okay, here we go. Check this out. It looks like we need a 6-digit code. I don't know what 6 digits to choose. Did you know that with 6 digits, we could make 1 million different codes, but only one of them is correct? I can't even count to 1 million. Can you count to 1 million? I can count to 100. Like 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100.
100.
But that's only 100. I guess maybe we should just try 6 numbers and see if it works.
Thousand years later.
0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Enter. What do you think that means? Do you think it's gonna? I think it's gonna blow!
Please hang up and try again.
Do you guys see what I see? It looks like there's a phone number on the back. Maybe if we call this number, they'll know the code. And then we can get in and see what's inside. All right, I'm about to call it. Let's see who answers. Oh, Hey, hello? Hi. Wait a second. Who is this? Grandpa?
Grandpa?
Wait a second. Did you change your number? Weird. It's my grandpa. Well, the reason I'm calling is because I found a safe. You know, I was out on one of my nature walks to clear my head to find the next clue. And I found this safe. But it has a 6-digit code. Can you help me? It's your safe? All right. Thanks, Grandpa. Bye. Good news. This is my grandpa's safe. Seems that he lost it on his nature walk. He likes to use it to clear his head too. But good news is he gave me the 6-digit code. Should we open it and find out what's inside? I think so too. Here we go. Looks like there's a piece of paper inside. Can you guys see what that says? It looks like this clue is sending us right back to our treasure map, the Bible. You remember, treasure map about how God's treasure is people? Well, good thing is today I brought my map with me. Let's see if we can figure out where this clue is leading us. Okay, adventurers, I brought all of our clues, put them all together, got our treasure map, and I am ready to see what this clue teaches us today about the treasure. So here's our clue. We got it from our safe, Genesis 15, 1 through 6. I'm gonna look it up in our treasure map. Right. Looks like we're still following Abram's story. This one seems interesting. Looks like once again, God is showing Abram what his big plans are for him. But this time, Abram has something to say to God as well. Let me read it to you. After these things happened, the Lord spoke his word to Abram in a vision. God said, Abram, don't be afraid. I will defend you, and I will give you a great reward. But Abram said, look, you have given me no son, so a slave born in my house will inherit everything I have. Then the Lord spoke this word to Abram. He said, that slave will not be the one to inherit what you have. You will have a son of your own, and your son will inherit what you have. Then God led Abraham outside. God said, look at the sky. There are so many stars you cannot count them, and your descendants will be too many to count. Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord accepted Abram's faith, and that faith made him right with God. Wow, that story was pretty amazing. If you read on a little bit later, you see that God answers Abram's prayer, and he does give him a son. But he doesn't just stop there. You see, Abram was the beginning of a big story. Abram was Jesus's great, too many greats to count, grandpa. You see, the Savior of the world would come out of Abram's family. And you and I are part of Abram's family as well. You see, every time somebody realizes that they are God's treasure and they ask Jesus to live in their heart, they are an answer to the promise that God gave Abram. So his family keeps growing. There's so many people in Abram's family that we can't even count them all. But it all started with a conversation. It all started with Abram asking God, saying, God, I see what you want me to do, but I don't know how to do it. It's interesting because Up until this point, we've only seen God talking to Abram. But in this story, Abram talks back to God. Do you know what it means to talk to God? Do you know what it's called? It's called prayer. Prayer is just a fancy way of saying we're having a conversation with God. You know, there's another verse in the Bible, in James 5, verse 16. It says, when a good man prays, great things happen. You know, it's kind of like our clue today. I needed help finding the key to this safe, how to get into it. All I had to do was call my grandpa and ask him a question. I had to have a conversation with him. And when I did, that conversation gave me the answer I needed. You see, for a lot of you, your prayer to God, your conversation with God is the key for your friends at your school and your family in your house to realize that they are God's treasure. You play a really big part in God's big plan for Abram and God's big plan for you. So what is your prayer going to be? What is God asking you to do to grow his house, to make room for his treasure? All right, adventurers, that's all I have for you this time. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Also, leave me a comment. Where do you like to go on your nature walk? Don't forget to hug a tree today. Minnesota Mandy out.